For thousands of years, a forbidden text lay hidden. The Book of Enoch, banned, lost, whispered about in secret circles. Inside its pages lie shocking revelations, fallen angels, lost prophecies, and visions of the end of days. Stay with us, because in the next few minutes, we'll uncover the most explosive secrets buried inside this mysterious book, and what they could mean for us today. Chapter 1. Who was Enoch? Enoch, a mysterious figure hidden deep in Genesis, he is the seventh patriarch in the line of Adam, the great-grandfather of Noah, a man who lived in the antediluvian age, a time before the great flood washed the world clean. In an era of growing darkness and corruption, Enoch stood apart. The scriptures say he walked with God, a phrase suggesting an unparalleled intimacy, a profound spiritual connection that set him apart from all others of his time. But it is his departure from the world that sparks the greatest mystery. For every other patriarch in his lineage, the Bible states plainly, "And he died." But not for Enoch. Instead, we are given one cryptic, tantalizing line. Enoch walked with God, and then he was no more, because God took him. What does this mean? Where did Enoch go? Was he taken into heaven, granted immortality without tasting death? Or was he taken by something else? Transported to another realm to serve a higher purpose? The Book of Enoch claims to hold the answer. It reveals that he was chosen as a scribe, a messenger, an emissary between heaven and earth. He was shown visions of the universe itself. He undertook journeys across dimensions, witnessed the inner workings of creation, and was entrusted with forbidden knowledge. Secrets of the cosmos, of divine judgment, and of humanity's ultimate destiny. Secrets never meant for mortal eyes. Chapter 2. The Watchers and the Giants. In the opening chapters of Enoch's book, we learn of a rebellion in the heavens. A group of celestial beings, 200 strong, known as the Watchers, abandoned their divine duties. Led by the angel Samyaza, they swore a binding oath on Mount Hermon, sealing their pact to defy God. They descended to earth, consumed by lust for human women. They took wives from among the daughters of men, a union that shattered the barrier between the mortal and divine realms. Their offspring were an abomination, giants, the Nephilim. These were not merely large men. They were ruthless, insatiable, and violent beings of immense stature and power. They devoured all of humanity's resources, then turned on animals, and finally, on humanity itself, consuming flesh and drinking blood. But the Watchers' sins went far beyond lust. They gave humanity forbidden knowledge. Azazel, one of their leaders, taught men how to forge weapons of war, swords, knives, and shields. He taught women the art of deception through cosmetics and adornments. Other Watchers revealed the secrets of sorcery, root cuttings, astrology, and the reading of the stars for divination. This knowledge, given before its time, twisted mankind, unleashing an age of unprecedented war, bloodshed, and chaos. The very fabric of the earth was corrupted, crying out in agony under the weight of this violence. Was this mere myth? A cautionary tale of divine power? Or is it a fragmented memory of a lost age, a history so shocking it was deliberately erased because it revealed too much truth about the origins of evil on earth? Chapter 3. Enoch's Heavenly Journeys. After being taken from the world, Enoch describes being guided on a series of breathtaking journeys beyond the earth. He travels through the various levels of heaven, each with its own purpose and angelic inhabitants. He is escorted by holy angels, like Uriel, the angel of light and stars, who acts as his personal guide through the cosmos. On these tours, he saw the precise movements of the sun and moon, the paths of the stars, and the laws governing their cycles. He describes a 364-day solar calendar, the changing of the seasons, and the great gates from which the winds and stars emerge. His words read like a detailed astronomical and meteorological treatise, written thousands of years before the invention of telescopes or modern scientific instruments. How could an ancient man have known these things with such accuracy? Was it purely divine revelation, a vision granted by God? Or, as some modern theorists propose, was Enoch in contact with beings not of this world? Advanced entities who showed him the secrets of the cosmos? The text leaves the question open, presenting a narrative that is part spiritual vision, part scientific manual, and entirely revolutionary. Chapter 4: The Judgment and the Flood. But Enoch was not just a passive witness. He was given a crucial mission. He was to act as a messenger of judgment. He was sent to the fallen watchers to deliver their terrifying sentence. Despite his own intercession on their behalf, their fate was sealed. They were to be bound in chains in the valleys of the earth, held in darkness until the final day of judgment. Their children, the giants, would be destroyed, forced to turn on one another in a final bloody conflict before being wiped from the face of the earth. But Enoch's book adds a chilling detail. The spirits of the dead giants would not be granted peace. They would remain on earth as malevolent, disembodied forces, the evil spirits that would plague, corrupt, and mislead humanity for all time. Then came the final cleansing, the Great Flood, a cataclysm that wiped the earth clean. The book of Genesis speaks of this event as a punishment for mankind's wickedness. But in Enoch's version, we learn the deeper, more specific reason. It was a cosmic reset, designed to erase the corrupted bloodline of the Nephilim and to wash away the forbidden knowledge that had poisoned the very soul of mankind, preparing the way for a new beginning with Enoch's great-grandson, Noah. Chapter 5: The Forbidden Book. But if this book reveals so much, if it provides the missing context for Genesis and the origin of evil, why don't we know it today? Why was it left out of the Bible? The mystery deepens when we realize that early Christians and Jews were very familiar with it. In fact, the Book of Enoch is directly quoted in the New Testament, in the Epistle of Jude, which attributes a prophecy to Enoch, the seventh from Adam. Despite this, as the early church began to formalize its canon of Scripture, leaders at councils like the Council of Laodicea in the 4th century decided the Book of Enoch was too strange, too elaborate, and too dangerous. It raised too many uncomfortable questions. The idea that angels could fall from lust, that they could father monstrous offspring, and that humanity could hold cosmic secrets. This was a narrative that was deemed unacceptable, a threat to a more simplified and controlled theology. And so Enoch was systematically erased, labeled heretical, hidden, banned. For over 1,000 years, it vanished from the Western world. But it was not entirely lost. Only in Ethiopia, preserved faithfully by the ancient Orthodox Tewahedo Church, which never rejected it, did the complete book survive, a lone textual witness waiting patiently in secret to resurface. Chapter 6: Rediscovery. For centuries, the Western world forgot about Enoch. The book was a ghost, known only through scattered references in other ancient texts. That all changed in 1773, when the Scottish explorer James Bruce returned to Europe from Ethiopia, bringing with him complete copies of the lost text. The scholarly world was stunned, but the ultimate vindication of its antiquity came nearly 2 centuries later. In the caves of Qumran, fragments of Enoch were uncovered among the legendary Dead Sea Scrolls. These ancient Aramaic manuscripts proved that the book was not a later Christian forgery, but a genuine Jewish text, predating Jesus by centuries. It was proof that ancient communities had read, treasured, and studied these forbidden words. The voice of Enoch, silenced for millennia, had returned. And with it, a torrent of questions that shake the very foundations of established history and theology. Conclusion. The Revelation. The Book of Enoch is far more than just an ancient, dusty manuscript. It is a window into a worldview that was deliberately hidden from us. It offers a different story of our origins, a world of fallen angels, cosmic journeys, a pre-human history written in the stars, and a judgment that reshaped the earth. It provides a potential origin story for the demons of folklore and a specific, terrifying reason for the Great Flood. Is it myth? Allegory? Prophecy? Or is it the literal truth that was deemed too powerful, too disruptive, and never meant to be told? Perhaps. The greatest secrets of humanity are not found in the books we are encouraged to read, but in the ones that were forbidden. The rediscovery of this text is not the end of the story, but the beginning of a new investigation into our own past. If you dare to uncover more, subscribe, because the mysteries are only getting darker.